Hi Refermians, very greetings from Refermi Group, and thank you so much for watching this Selenium video. Well, before starting this demo or this demo video, we would like to share few information with you. You have seen that we have a tremendous record in the workshop, whatever we have delivered, and in every workshop it is good for us and like it is appreciation for us that even not only a single workshop where we have got a rating 4.9. In every workshop we got a rating of 5 out of 5, and we always try from Referme side to give you the best, and our objective is not
like to run a sample code in front of you, and then we'll tell you what is that we're going to cover during the course of the training. And yeah, so that's what we'll do. And in case you guys have any question, feel free to ask. But what I suggest, let's take Q&A around after every 10-15 minutes, so that we have a pace maintained for the session. And then based on this we can later decide how is that we're going to plan, how is that we're going to structure our training. Yep. I hope I am audible fine to everybody. Just let me know in case you guys are facing issues in hearing or any issues. Yeah. So let me share my screen quickly. Give me just 1 second. Okay. So guys, let me know once you see my screen. I hope everybody can see my screen now.
yes, we can see.
Okay, perfect. Sure. Okay, just 1 second. Okay, so guys, this is what we're gonna cover as part of this training. Now, before I get into the content, a quick introduction about Selenium and why is test automation popular these days, and what is ReferMe will bring onto the table for you. So test automation, I mean, this is the area, this is the era of automation across technologies. When I say technology, it means there is a lot of automation happening, how the builds are getting deployed. There is a lot of automation happening within the process. How do you take your code between environments? So that is also an area of automation. So DevOps itself says you go lean and you do a lot of automation. And so if we talk about testing and QA, there is traditionally people have been doing QA manually, and that has been productive. However, there is a lot of scope of automation within the QA and testing activities as well, because at times when you do regression, it is simply running test cases manually. You take ages, which is not very productive. And in case you want to push the code or application into production at the earliest, it is a barrier, because the QA will not be able to certify unless they run all their test scenarios, and it becomes a roadblock or a barrier later on. And imagine in the era of DevOps, a QA asking, I need 10 days or 5 days to run the regression. It will not be accepted with a lot of warmth by the senior folks, right? So that is the reason there is a lot of automation happening across the globe, and there are a lot of tools available in the market. So the leading tools are these tools have through the user. However, the there from day one would like to the thought, you like start test. There's a lot of the current life about the is old the UK any browser on application you can do so when I means through a browser, right? The application are moving desktop test automation on browser is and people say license I told you the port and the cost, but tools in the market as well, which can help you to do automation on the browser. And Selenium is the leading tool. It is in market for last 10, 12 years and very popular, very powerful, has a lot of features, has a very good team working on the enhancement. So a lot of new features getting implemented and available to the consumers who are us, the testers. So very much in demand. As I said, it is very powerful. You can run your test in multi-threaded environment. So if let's assume if you're a QTP expert, so it doesn't give you flexibility or capability to run test in multi-threaded environment. So your execution effort is very high. While Selenium gives you flexibility to run your test in multi-threaded environment. What does it mean? You can group your test cases and run them parallelly in batches. So your execution times your execution effort comes down. Okay. So this is why the world is moving toward Selenium, and we'll get to know a lot during the course of this training. This is very high level, just an introduction, right? Okay, now let's come back to the training content. So this is what we're gonna cover within this training, and the effort required from you folks. So there will be close to 40-45 hours of classroom training, 2-3 hours per day, Saturday, Sunday per weekend. So what does it mean if we say 6 hours every weekend? So close to 7-8 weekends. That is what you guys will have to invest. And so they'll other than the classes, I believe in a lot of hands-on. So I'll give you a lot of homework, and we'll do a lot of coding within the class itself. Every concept that we'll cover, we'll do assessment, we'll do exercise on that, and at the end of it, we'll create one end-to-end framework using which you can run your few scenarios. Yeah. So In terms of effort, so you guys will invest 6 hours in the learning every weekend. Plus, my expectation is if you guys can invest 1 or 2 hours daily from home after your office hours, if you guys are working, if you can, be with me, invest 1 or 2 hours daily, right? Which means 5 hours to 10 hours during the week and 6 hours over the weekend, which makes it close to 11 to 16 hours in a week for 7-8 weeks, right? So my promise, you guys will be around 6 on a scale of 10 when it comes to Java with Selenium. Why Java with Selenium? Because we'll use Java as the programming language when we'll do the automation, right? Though Selenium can be Selenium gives you an API in multiple languages. It gives you an API in Java, it gives you an API in .NET, Ruby, Python, Perl, and plus few more. However, the most popular and the most powerful is Java. The 90 to 95% of market is captured by Java, yeah, when it comes to Selenium. So that is the reason we're gonna focus more on Java. Yeah, and so I told you about the effort required, 11 to 15 hours every week. My promise, if you do whatever I do, whatever I tell you to do, you will be 6 on a scale of 10. And yep. Okay, so let's look at the topics that we're gonna cover. So we'll cover core Java, which is what we need. And so don't worry if you guys have no experience in programming before. So I'll tell you how do you learn programming, how do you learn how to write logic and things like this. So we'll start with basic programs, and then gradually you will learn and improve. Yep. Then we'll learn how to set up Java on Windows. If you guys want to learn it on Linux, I can do that as well. And then how to configure build paths so that Java is available from every location. Then how to set up Eclipse, which is the IDE. Then we'll learn what is Selenium, how to set up Selenium. Then we'll learn what is a property file, what is Apache POI if you want to integrate with Excel. Then what is a Maven for dependency and build management. Then we'll learn TestNG, which is the unit testing framework. We'll learn Log4j for logging, Selenium Grid for parallel execution, and then framework development. So these are the high level topics. There'll be a lot of topics within each of these topics. So there'll be a lot of learning within the next 7 to 8 weeks. And if you guys want me to cover anything specific which is not mentioned here, we can do that as well. Yeah. Okay. Now, so I think the platform is set up. Now let me take a quick break and invite people for shooting any question that you might have. Yep. Any question? Okay. No
Hello.
worries.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
Namita. I just have one
Okay.
question.
Hey, Namita, tell me.
Yeah, while learning with the Selenium, I just want to know how much programming language is required. It's a basic or it's in deep in detail. How much
I
we
I
can.
yep. Yeah. So I expect you guys to know basic programming concepts. I'm sure you guys might have done some sort of programming during your college days. So if you
Yeah.
know that, that is sufficient. So what I need or what you need to know is what you need is just a commitment towards learning. If you guys can spend some effort, my guarantee you will be able to learn
So
it
how
without
much,
any problems.
if you want to go for an interview, how we can say that we have an experience of like 6 months or 1 year around in Selenium if we go for an interview,
Yep,
how
yep.
we
So
can.
post training, and the assignments that I will give you, you guys can confidently say we have worked on Selenium for close to six months to a year. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right. Okay. No worries. Okay. Now let me quickly. So I shared very high level detail of the content. Now this is a little deeper view of the content that we're gonna cover. So we'll cover a lot today as well. We'll cover what is Selenium IDE, RC, WebDriver, grid, and things like this today. But other than this, we'll cover web application, versus standalone application, browser, what is a database server, application server, HTML, what is a locator, architecture. We'll cover, the different types of technologies used in web application, tools used, how to set up your machine for test automation using Selenium. Selenium is not the only thing that you will need. You will need a lot of other things as well, such as Firepath, Firebug, other Java APIs. So we'll learn those, how to configure, right? And Selenium IDE. So I'm not going to cover this in very detail, but I'll tell you what does it, what is it, and why is it used. Then we'll focus on WebDriver, which is the core of Selenium that we'll cover. And then we'll cover working with the IE and Firefox, form control, advanced WebDriver, how to access forms, how to work with links and sublinks, how to read table, child windows, handle events, uploading and downloading files, recovery scenarios, interacting with an API, interacting with a database, with the file, and things like this. Yeah. So this is a little more in detail, which we'll cover. Yeah. Now let's learn a bit about Selenium. Let's start Selenium. Yeah. Okay. So any idea, guys, why is Selenium known as Selenium? Why is the word, why is the name Selenium? No? Okay. No worries. Okay. So HP UFT or QTP, it was the company that developed HPQTP was known as Mercury Interactive before, and later on it was acquired by HP, right? And when in 2004, when people started working on Selenium, HPQTP was a very popular test automation tool, and the developers, they wanted to name it by a name which is opposite of mercury, and mercury is a poison. If you consume it, the only thing that can help you to come out or survive is selenium. It is also an element or compound which you can consume once you are poisoned with mercury. So that is the reason it was named as Selenium, because of rivalry. This is how the industry works. People tend to give name, people tend to name the product based on the current leading product in the market of the same family, right? Okay. Now let's move to the test automation for a web application. I told you web applications are very popular these days, because because everybody would like to work from any location. So you get into a browser, open your application and start working, rather than installing your application on a laptop or desktop, which you will have to carry everywhere. And the benefit of web is you can use your application from any device. So there is no device dependency, right? You will not need your laptop everywhere, correct? So that is the reason there is a lot of liking by the industry, shifting towards the web. Yeah. Okay. Brief history. Let me show you this diagram. So Selenium was developed by a gentleman called Jason Huggins in 2004. Jason Huggins, he was working with ThoughtWorks, and he was working on a complex project wherein he was doing a lot of their QA team was doing a lot of work manually and it was getting a pain to test. So he developed a JavaScript based library to do the test automation, and it was very popular. It became very useful. People started using that. Now the problem with this library, so the benefits were they could automate, and gradually or very quickly it became an open source tool acquired by Apache and available as a product from Apache, and the industry started adopting. Yeah, so this is how it evolved. However, the problem was, because it was written in JavaScript, it used to embed JavaScript within the browser on which you want to run your test. So the problem is, when you embed JavaScript within the browser, if your company or the client that you are working with has implemented security policies, so the browser will not allow JavaScript to pass through. And I am sure you guys might have seen this issue n number of times, especially people working on the financial projects. The client or the environment or the security policies will not allow you to run any script within a browser, which became an issue later on because people could not run their test on a lot of browsers. IE is one browser which blocks a lot of JavaScript because of the security which is implemented within IE. Yeah. So this was one reason, one limitation with the first version of Selenium. The second limitation was, before running, before executing your test, it was required to start a Selenium server, and then you could run your test. So there were a lot of prerequisites that you need to set, which used to consume a lot of effort, and in case you close the server by mistake, your execution will stop, then you'll have to start again and then rerun. So these were the few limitations, but it doesn't mean it was not a powerful tool. It was powerful, but with these limitations, within the tool, with the first version. Now this guy Simon Stewart, so this is the second guy. He's with Google. He is still owning Selenium. He was working with Selenium. He changed the complete architecture of Selenium. He removed the two limitations that Selenium had, which is, one is embedding JavaScript into the browser, second running the Selenium RC server, right? So he removed those. He changed the architecture. Now with the new architecture, which is 2.0, you are no longer required to start the server, and the tool will interact with the browser directly. It will not embed any JavaScript. So the security issues and the issues with the starting a server and things like that are no longer existing. Yeah. So somewhere in 2008, both the versions were merged, and the tool was renamed. Earlier it was known as Selenium RC. Now after merging in 2008, the tool was renamed to Selenium WebDriver 2.0. And just a month or two back, Selenium 3.0 has been released, which is an enhanced version of Selenium 2.0, not a major enhancement like from RC to WebDriver, but a lot of feature specific enhancement have been made, and we'll cover what are the differences during the course of the training. Yeah. Okay. Now let's go a little more deeper. So what is Selenium? Selenium is a suite of tools. So Selenium, it exists in three forms. You have an IDE, you have a Selenium RC, you have Selenium WebDriver, and Grid. So Grid is not a tool. Grid is a distribution platform which can distribute your test on multiple machines or nodes and execute them parallelly. So it is a distribution and execution platform. Yeah, it is not required to automate. Yeah, it is very easy to learn. Once your tests are developed, you configure your grid, you specify, which node you want to run what test, and it can run that for you. So very easy to learn. So let's not worry too much about Selenium Grid for now. We'll focus about Selenium. We'll look at Selenium Grid later on when we'll learn about framework development and how to execute in parallel or distributed mode. Yeah. Let's talk about Selenium IDE. Selenium IDE comes as a plugin within the Mozilla Firefox, and it gives you capability to record and replay, right? So I'll give you homework. Now post after this, uh, enable the Selenium IDE plugin and try to record and replay. So this is a very basic plugin. It is not used at all in the industry, so we're not gonna focus on it. It has very limited capabilities. You cannot design a robust, scalable, extensible framework which we can use within the professional or the industrial world. So not advisable, not used at all. It is just a capability given to record and replay basic steps. Yeah. So we are not gonna focus on it. I would suggest you guys to do some play around with the IDE. If you can spend half an hour, you'll get to know the capabilities and not used at all. So let's not worry too much about it. So during this course of this training, we're gonna focus a lot on WebDriver. Now before WebDriver, let's look at which is RC is abbreviation or the short form of remote control, and it is the first version, as I said before, developed by gentleman Jason Huggins from ThoughtWorks. And you need to start a server, you need to it will embed JavaScript within your browser. However, it has been migrated, so no longer in use. The tool that is getting used these days is WebDriver. So during this training, we're gonna focus deep on WebDriver, which is the latest merged cumulative tool available in the open source world these days, Selenium WebDriver. So we're gonna focus on Selenium WebDriver 2 and 3. Yeah. So I'll tell you what are the difference. How do we do this in 2? How do we do this in 3? But if you know 2, you'll be equally proficient with 3 as well, because these are just minor enhancement. No? Okay, right. So let me move on. Quickly about the features of Selenium. It is an open source test automation tool. It provides cross-browser testing. So you write your test for one browser and you can execute them on multiple browsers. How do we do that? We'll get to know during the course of the training. It is a cross-language scripting framework. So you have Selenium available in Java, you have available in C#, PHP, Python, Perl, Ruby, and you are free to use whatever language you would like to use. However, the most popular is Java. It is a multi-platform. It works on multiple platform. It works on Linux, on Windows, Android, Mac, Apple, Solaris. So you write your test on one, you can execute on another OS as well. So it gives you that capability as well. Okay, now let's look at the external APIs. Do you guys know what is an API? Okay guys, I would like you guys to interact. That is the way we will learn. So please share your ideas. I might also get to learn from you as well while you're learning from me. So So let's interact. Otherwise, you know, there'll be the session will be dull. So I would appreciate if you give me a wrong answer as well. I'm fine with that. But at least whatever you know, speak out. So do you guys know what is an API? No? Okay, no worries. Okay, do you guys know what is a GUI? Am I audible?
Graphical
Hello?
user interface.
Graphical user interface. Yeah, very good. So what is a graphical user interface?
Oh. Basically, we are checking the UI of the application, like it's user friendly
Okay,
or
okay.
not. It's an easy to understand.
So let me make it simple. Thanks for the answer though. So a GUI is an interface using which a human can talk to a machine. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Similarly, API is an interface using which two programs can talk to each other. Yeah. So you might have seen you know you write a tweet on Twitter and upload it onto Facebook. So how are these two applications talking to each other? Using the APIs. So both these product companies, they have exposed APIs using which these two can talk to each other. Yeah. So we'll learn a lot of APIs. These are Java APIs. Yeah. So Selenium is also an API. So other than Selenium, we'll learn a lot of APIs like TestNG, NUnit is Microsoft. We'll not learn that. We'll learn TestNG, JUnit. We'll learn Apache POI, Mail POI, Reporting API, Log4j, and every API has certain capability. Example, Log4j is used is it gives you flexibility to write logs. Yeah. Reporting API gives you flexibility to create test execution reports. POI API gives you flexibility or 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 features or capability to read data stored in Excel or write data in Excel. Similarly, there'll be a database connectivity API using which you can interact with the database, right? So we'll learn along with Selenium, we'll learn a lot of APIs, right? Few of them are mentioned here. Few of them we'll get to know, during the training. Yeah. Okay. So let me stop here and tell you something about Java. Yeah. So I heard someone mentioning somebody has worked on Java before. Who is that person?
Yes, I have a little bit idea about Java.
Very good. So what is that you have done in Java?
In my college time, I worked on the project named as Resource Manager that was in Java only.
Okay. How much is your overall experience?
Present experience you're talking about?
Yep.
3.5 years of experience.
Okay. So that means before around 4 years back you have worked on Java, correct?
Around 2012, yes.
Okay. Good. Good. Very good. Okay. So anybody other than your Dishi, right?
Priyanka.
Priyanka, sorry. So anybody other than Priyanka who has worked on any programming language other than any language, whether that is Java, C++, C Sharp. Yep. Anybody else? No? During the
Before
college?
during the college we have to done in .NET some.
Very good. .NET, yeah. What else? Anybody else? I've worked on .NET and Java. Yes. Good, good, good. Very good. Okay. Excellent. Right. So let me tell you something about Java. Yeah. So Java is a high is do you guys know what is a low level programming language? What is a high level programming language? or what is a machine level programming language? What is the lowest level of programming? Electronics engineers, have you worked on 8085? Any electronic engineer in the team? No? Okay. So 8085, it's a processor. So when you program a processor, you write very crude program, right? Which is you code using the language which a processor or hardware can understand. So that is known as low level. What does it mean? This code is directly executed on the hardware or on the operating system, right? A bigger encapsulation to this low level language is high level language, which people can write in language they understand, and then it is compiled by the computer and converted into the low level language. Example, Java. We write in English, and very close to kind of language we speak and write, and when we write the source code, it is compiled by the compiler and converted into program which machine can understand, right? So Java has three components. Now before I come to the components, there is a bigger abstraction on top of the high level programming language as well. Can you guys would you guys try to answer what is which is a bigger encapsulation abstraction over Java? Which could be the bigger abstraction? SQL, yeah. When you write SQL queries, what happens? These queries, they get converted into code behind the scenes, right? So SQL is also written in some programming language. When you do a select this from this table, it gets converted into a code which is either Java, C++ or whatever, and then that's converted into a code which machine can understand, right? So this is, but SQL is more closer to our language which we speak and write, correct? Yeah, it is more closer to us than Java. Yeah, correct? Very good. Okay, let's move on. Now let's come back to Java. It has, as I mentioned before, it has three components. One is JDK, which is Java Development Kit. So what does this Java Development Kit contains? It contains the libraries, classes, and API which we will use to write our program. Yeah, if you guys know about C or C++, then you might have heard about header files. Yeah, so when you write your program, you do include conio.h, stdio.h, math.h, right? So what does math.h contains? Math.h contains already written methods or functions which can do mathematical operations. Yeah. So for example, if you want to calculate standard deviation, so you will not write the formula. Yeah. So you will use a method called standard deviation and pass your numbers, run your program, it will give you standard deviation. So math.h will have the code already written. Yeah. Similarly, JDK library, it'll have a lot of APIs, classes, and code that is already developed, which you can use to write your program. And an example is standard deviation. So Java will give you a method which you can use and calculate the standard deviation. Correct? Yeah. Okay. So JDK libraries. Now there is one more, which is known as JRE, Java Runtime Environment. What does it mean? So I told you Java can be executed on it is multi-platform. Yeah. So what does it mean? You write your program on Windows, you can execute that on Linux. Yeah. So your program needs an environment to execute, right, which is platform independent, sorry. And JRE gives you that feature. So in case I have developed a program on my machine and I want you guys to run it on your on your machine, then you will not be required to have all the source code JDK libraries. You will only need an execution environment which is